and welcome to another edition of The One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, coming off a win.
Yes, it was an exciting night, and it was a fun night.
Yes.
So on today's show, we are going to be discussing a lot about last night's win over Inter Miami.
Yep.
And kind of talk about the sights and sounds of the game, but also kind of more or less talk about a couple other little things, such as possibility of Jim getting extended, and then look ahead through the League's Cup. We've been talking about that, but the Union just finished their next batch of 5 games, and now we're kind of with the game tonight, we're going into our last batch before the Open Cup. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that looks like and kind of what our thoughts are.
Yep.
But before we get started, what are we wearing today?
All right. Well, we did stop in the team store last night at the game, and I got something that I've been wanting, and I was going to order it online, but they were out of my size. So I picked up in the team store, and I got the black Philadelphia Union Love Unites t-shirt, which I definitely like. I like how the color pops off of the black, and
it really does look nice. It looks a lot better, that's for sure. And I'm wearing one of my favorites, gold-blooded, with the little snake on the side going through the gold-blooded. And
I think I got you that.
I thought your sister got me that for like a Christmas present.
Who knows? It all starts to blend together because we have so much.
It really does. We're starting to gather a lot of Union.
Yeah.
Not that we're complaining, but
no, and we've gotten a few other things that we'll talk about.
Yeah, we did. So, but before we get started, just want to give a shout out again if you haven't watched episode 33. Just before we get started, I want to give a big shout out to our friend Jose and Mike for their show Across the Pitch.
Yep. It was great having them on.
It was great having them on. And, the episode's doing really well. It's one now of our highest rated episodes.
Yeah, so we appreciate everyone who's listened.
Yeah, and if you do, definitely make sure to hit subscribe. Just helps with the algorithms. Leave a comment, all that stuff. Just we'd love to hear from you guys. That's more important than anything. And then make sure to interact with us on Twitter at TOTWAG. That's the One Team We All Agree On. And also on Facebook and Instagram at the One Team We Agree On. And we're also on YouTube, Apple, Google, and Spotify. So
lots of places to find us.
Yes, so go ahead, leave a review. It's been awesome interacting. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But let's get into it. So last night, Union played Inter Miami. No Messi, obviously.
Yep.
Although there are a lot of disappointed fans from what we're seeing.
Yeah, the only thing messy about Miami last night was how much their defense.
Ooh, I see where you went there.
Yeah, the defense blew it.
Yeah. So
yeah,
let's talk about the tailgate atmosphere environment. Just a few things I really want to get into. First and foremost, you posted that on our Instagram and on our Twitter, the new Union symbol.
Yeah. So when we park in lot G, and they had closed off the part of Rainey Street from there and Front Street. So basically the intersection where you normally turn into lot G. And they paved it with bricks and concrete, and they have big Union symbol in there. It looks great. And they have blue paint around it and everything, where the ramps are for the sidewalks. So it looks great, and we posted pictures, like we said, and so it looks like it's really coming together, that whole area, and it looks like there's going to be more for them to do too.
Yeah, I mean, right now we left a little early, just because of we gotten that notification about construction. We didn't know how big a fiasco it was going to be, but it really, at the end of the day, wasn't any different than any other game. They were just letting us in where they usually let people out.
So just like further up, closer to 291.
But it looks like, one thing early in the season when you get there, where the concrete and road were, like the sidewalks were really high. Like
they were there.
They were like, looks like they're paving them a little bit just to make them a little bit more accessible. That's good to see.
Yep.
But that's a really nice touch there, and I think they're going to continue to build it. I still think they need to do the parking lots, obviously, and
Yeah.
but I think that's going to come too. I think it's weird that they're doing that up right now and then they're going to do parking lots, but I also do feel that the parking lots are going to come
Yeah.
eventually.
It'll be interesting to see what's done because we have a little bit of time till our next home game, see what's been done in that time.
It is. So, anyway, the next thing I want to talk about, it was really humid and there was a rain.
Muggy as all get out.
And but one thing I liked about the tailgate was they did a really nice job, I thought anyway, of having the canopies over like the
Yeah.
areas. That was a nice touch with
And
the
there were
rain.
more tables too.
More tables. They had little high tops that they used to have where you could just lay the little
Hmm.
beer out and just talk. And so, when we got there, we put our stuff right outside. There was another group in our area where we were kind of set up our little
Hmm.
chairs, but I thought that was nice that, kept you out of the heat a little bit. And also it was nice if the rain came, we had someplace to go.
Right. Yeah, that was nice. And because at first the area didn't have very many tables.
Yeah.
So personally when I'm eating, I prefer to either sit or stand at a table rather than having my plate on my lap or something. It's just
Yeah.
more awkward. But yeah, it was a lot. It was nice. And yeah, it was so muggy. So getting out of the sun was good to be able to do. And it was really buggy though too. So just how it is. But
We talked
yeah.
to a lot of really good people. And that was the one thing, we did meet up with the guests that were on pod. Mike and Jose were there,
Hmm.
and we interacted with a lot of people we didn't before. And I thought that was cool, just talking to new people, talking about the union, talking about life. I mean,
Yeah, we
we
talked to a lot of people and as we're there having a good time with everybody and you know it occurred to me how great this community is. We talked about this before, how we really feel a connection to people. And as we've gone to tailgates and been a part of this as time has passed, we have made so many more connections. And so it's at the point where we're at tailgate and we see so many people that we want to talk to. It's great.
yeah, it is great. Like you spend a lot of
Mhm.
time, and some with Rich and met some of the people that
And I talked to Dave Leno. Shout out
yeah.
Dave Leno.
Yeah, you were talking
Yes.
to Dave, and then our usual group, but it was a really fun time. And then Todd and I were chatting as always. And but one thing I did notice, and I think it was, and shout out to Valerie, her and I were talking about the whole thing with Union Yard, Sons of Ben, how people are feeling about that. And the one thing we both agree on is, that whole thing can increase the fandom.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is somebody's never gone to a Union game. They walk in this way and they see Union Yards, and they're like, oh, sitting over there. And then they see all of us over there.
Hmm.
And they could be thinking to themselves, hey, I wonder what this is. Hey. And that's why we always say, folks, everybody's welcome at Sons of Ben
Yeah.
event. And so people show, they come over and say, hey, it's $15, all you can drink and eat. Oh,
Hmm.
wow, it's even a better deal than over here. But we're not stealing people away from Union Yards. I mean, but I noticed last night in particular, it was dead.
Yeah, it really didn't seem like they had much credit. And again, I feel like they barely promote it.
They didn't during the stadium tour.
Yeah, but if I'm on their social media team or something, I'm
Oh,
probably promoting that a bit,
I
for the
didn't
game.
see
But
it.
and I don't.
I didn't see that at all. Like,
There's
eh,
tons of people in the plaza.
yeah, and there's people just walking around hanging out, and they said DJ like we did. They didn't have a live. Like the only time I've seen a live band was that very first time they had it
Yeah, and
going.
the live band was good.
Yeah, people were like walking over from our tailgate, check out the live band. Like,
I felt like our DJ was extra loud last night. It was really hard to have conversation depending on where you're
yeah, the
standing.
music was
So I don't know if that's just
really,
because it was kind of competing with the noise at Union Yards.
and that was kind of annoying at times because
Yeah.
some of the songs were a little loud. I will say, like, I wish we weren't so blasting that music because I think just with the environment now too, not when we were in like the old lot and it was open, like
Yeah.
they were blasting probably same decibel. I just feel like
Yeah.
with there's more structures, thing noise is reverberating a
Yeah.
lot more. But yeah, I mean, it was a good selection of beer, good selection of food as always. They were doing the
Yep.
tie-dye. It was just a fun environment. But when I was looking over at Union Yards, they just had a DJ in like a little shack, like one of the little garage door areas. Probably because of the rain, they were trying to keep them inside, obviously.
They didn't even have their overpriced tacos over there.
No, they didn't have the tacos
they sound good, and I've heard they're good, but they're a little pricey. But yeah,
but whatever.
Yeah,
they had like an Italian ice truck, but yeah, it was just like a very, I don't know, didn't look like there was a whole bunch going on there. So, but after that, I thought the marching was nice.
Yeah, we went kind of in a different direction, kind of around the building and then down Rainy Street.
Yeah, it was a really nice walk in, good energy, good crowd. We got in there. Stadium was packed. I mean, I thought, I was like, when we were going through, I was like, whoa, wow.
Oh yeah.
And
yes, we saw messy jerseys.
Well, that was the other thing I want to comment. The messy jerseys around the stadium. I mean, you saw everything from PSG, obviously Miami. You saw Barcelona. You saw Argentina. Obviously, you just saw many different types of messy jerseys. I mean, I think that's the one thing people are going to have to start getting used to as MLS fans, whether you're a Union fan or not. When we play Inter Miami, it's going to be probably half the fans there are going to be not necessarily there to see Inter Miami. They're going to be there to see Messi.
Yeah. How about we heard that there was even a kid in Messi, but also in like full, like cleats, shin guards, everything.
I didn't know about that.
Oh, I heard about that when we were in the stands.
Oh, well, I mean, good for that guy, but
I mean, it was a kid, but yeah,
it's good. Well, I mean, good for them, but like, I mean, that's a little. What was it? Weeks ago, I saw somebody from Nashville posted some guy from St. Louis. And this guy was probably in his 30s, 40s, wearing like shorts, socks, everything.
I mean, a kid doing it's one thing.
That's like I'm not gonna, but the guy was like all like decked out, and he's like this guy think he's playing for the team or something. That's like
sub me in, coach, right?
Yeah, like really. But anyway, no, I thought it was interesting to see all the messy people. And really, let's talk about real quick. We went into the shop. We were looking for the Unity t-shirts.
So it doesn't look like they're selling them, which is a shame. Like, that's a missed opportunity. I would buy one.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
They have them on all the staff wearing them.
They had those online auctions, I think, have now since gone, because I know, shout out to Billy. I believe he won one.
Did he? Do you know which play?
I want to look now. Was it Perea? I forget. But let me see if I can find it. But yeah, he won one of the jerseys.
Nice.
And let's see if I can find it real quick here.
Yeah, I do feel like that's a missed opportunity, because I would definitely buy one. I like the concept behind.
Yeah, he went on to us.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I would I think that's a missed opportunity. I know all the staff got to have them. And if any staff is out there listening to this and you want to sell me yours, I'd be interested. But no, I do like it. As you know, my lucky jersey is the Unity top from last year, which several other people wore as well. Shout out Polomy and Rich. So we're wearing ours. And yes, and by the way, Kyle's wearing his lucky jersey as well. And despite what some people think, it was lucky yesterday too. And yeah, we won.
So let's look at some of the other merchandise we picked up yesterday.
So when you walked in, you got some freebies. These so we had that.
These are nice. I mean, they're really just like a little.
It's like a.
It says towel, but it's like.
Not, I mean, it's very soft. Would you call it a towel? Or I saw some people actually wearing kind of like a bandana even.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but what I thought was interesting is, it's
because it's not quite like scarf length, so
it's a nice commemorative. I would say it's a nice commemorative thing. The funny thing, whoever did the printing on these rushed it. You can definitely tell, because if you look here, there's a shadow here, and then there's a shadow of "We Stand for Service" right over here. So somehow they folded it like this when it came in. And so that's where the overlap of the design came in.
Yeah, they gave out those navy blue ones that are kind of like this last year.
Yeah, they did.
And it has like the Unity pattern kind of on it.
Yeah.
Here.
I
But
did
yeah,
like
it's
that.
another thing I can hang in on my dupe wall in my classroom.
There you
So,
go.
yeah, and actually, you know what? That's actually a nice because it's white. That's actually a really good item that you could get signed if you need something for when we get things signed.
Yeah. All right. And next.
All right, so something Kyle's been eyeing for a while.
Yeah, I wear some Union socks sometimes for games, not always, but since like the initial like the kit reveal party they had early in the year where it was just basically like, let's be honest, the one the year before was really nice where they had to do the media
Yeah,
thing.
you got to get your picture
That
and
this year
video
it's
and all
like,
that.
hey, here's, and I'm not ripping it. It's
It
like,
was cool
hey,
to see all the unis and everything.
yeah, it was cool to see unions take a walk down history lane, but still, it's like, felt like they phoned that one in. But anyway, got the new top socks, match the new top. I like these.
Kyle is a purveyor of socks. He likes cool socks.
I like Vegas socks.
Yeah, yeah, he wears Vegas socks a lot for luck as well. But yeah, he was wearing his Union ones yesterday. But yes, another pair of Union socks for him.
And okay, so the next thing, we stopped at Rally House because we left early because of the traffic. And so I wanted to say, hey, we're gonna probably get there right at the tailgate starts, and we actually got there before it started. So why don't we stop at Rally House? We've never been there.
Yeah, we don't have any around us in Lancaster, so I mean to stop in and
So
check out stuff. So
we went in, and she was, you were in heaven because you're a 5 for 5.
yeah,
And I'm just like, oh, where's the Union section?
you have to understand we don't have anything that expansive in Lancaster. We do have the Eagles Pro Shop at Rockvale, which is pretty sweet. We do have that. But other than that, we have like what Dick's and
and when you go there, it's
your general kind of places, and
it's gonna be Steelers.
Yeah, we have a lot of bandwagon Steelers fans,
and then you also have Baltimore. We're like at like the crossroads of
York is really in the crossroads.
Yeah.
Lancaster's still more Eagles and Philadelphia.
I grew up when you get Eagles, Pittsburgh, and then you get Baltimore. So it's like you got slim pickings.
Yeah, but going in there, I was like, "Ooh, there's so much stuff." So, yeah. So I mean, I hadn't been to one before, so I was like, "Okay, this is a nice section." But guess what we found? We found this. Now, trigger warning if you're still suffering from PTSD, but 2022 MLS Cup Union and LAFC T-shirt.
Yeah, and here's the thing: the original price on this bad boy was $40. We got. I thought it was
$18.
I thought it was 10, but it was 18.
$18.
So half off, a little bit of Union history. I know we all wish it turned out better. This is a nice little keepsake, and they only had like a double XL. But yeah, we went to the game.
We were at the MLS Cup.
Yeah,
and actually, we had been interested in the scarf that they
sold out the day before.
That was out really quickly.
So yeah, we got some nice stuff and got in there and again, great crowd. The river end was packed. Good energy early on.
Yeah.
Even though it was muggy as heck.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It was so hot. But
I know I was saying, man, you remember when we were freezing our butts off at every game?
So but one thing I will say I really enjoyed was the tifo that Ryan and his staff
that tifo
was probably one of the nicest ones I've seen.
Like I know how much effort went into that. I saw him sewing, and I teach sewing. I sew, I'm no like seamstress or anything, but I teach that, and I know how long something like that can take. That was a lot of fabric, lot. And as we were told, that thing was like 900 pounds. Just getting that into the stadium, Drew, our buddy, he was telling us, carrying that thing in was not easy. So props to everyone involved. It looked great. And when I saw what it looked like, people that took pictures of it, fantastic.
Todd and a couple other guys up in the press box were taking some really nice pictures. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to Ryan and everybody for putting that together.
There was a really good picture that I think it was on the Union account with the guys in their huddle, and then behind has that's a really good shot.
Yeah, whoever took that, I love that. I saw that on the media slides.
Yeah, so props to everybody involved.
So yeah, I mean, it was a good environment, but I mean, the game itself, we'll talk a little bit about it. I mean, I think we can say, let's start off with the good.
All right.
The good is kind of like when we coach. We have a compliment criticism sandwich.
I taught you this because I'm a teacher.
Yes.
I call it glows and grows.
All right.
And I always make a compliment sandwich. Yes.
Let's talk about the glows. The glow was, and you posted a tweet about this.
Yes.
So on the presser after Orlando game, I asked Jim, we've given up X amount of goals. I think it was 5 in 15 minutes this season. Whereas last year we used to put the ball in the net before the other team in the first 15 minutes. We're usually playing from front. And he talked about it, like, hey, that's right. And he always says this. We play better from the front than we do from behind. So another area we've been really lacking this year, set pieces. And we've talked about that. I know Todd's talked about it on the free kick. I mean, it's one of the things that if you're really looking at this team and examining it on a weekly basis, you notice or noticing that. And to see them go out on the first corner kick of the game and put a set piece ball with a nice header from Jacob in the back of the net, Union are up 1-0, and you're feeling, okay, that's really nice. You want to see that. I thought it was a great ball from Kai. Great execution overall. I mean, chef's kiss on that finish.
Oh, what a nice header by Jacob Glesnes.
But, you posted a funny meme.
Yes, I did.
I didn't even notice it until later today, but...
Oh,
I didn't.
Yeah, you didn't, huh?
So, yeah. So you want to explain it?
So, well, yeah. I mean, after Kyle asked that question in the presser about not scoring in the first 15 minutes and how we kept getting scored on, I thought, well, when we got to halftime, I'm like, well, we scored 3 goals in the first half.
Yeah.
3-0 going into halftime. And it made me think, Jim took that personally. Just joking, of course. And so, hey, there it is.
Yeah. I think both, and then you both had the other 2 goals. You had Julian's nice goal, which
it was so good to see. Julian
Kevcho really broke that down, and if you gotta go watch his goal breakdown, it's hilarious. Now Todd has a really good breakdown, but Kevin's was more comical. Like, yeah, this is so MLS, where the gun guy's not even committing, the ball goes in, Kranz is wide open, boom, goal, little. Yeah. And then to see Flock get a nice goal.
That was a really nice goal.
I was like, okay, that makes, like, last year's was luck. I was like, okay, that was actually a really good goal. That was probably better of the 2, even though last year against Solitano, that was nice. That was a goal
and the importance of that goal last year.
We talked about that the last show. But I thought for this one, that was a really nice goal, well executed by him. And so for me anyway, I left going into the half saying, okay, this is great. But for the most part of the first half, I will say this, and here's where my negative comes in, or grow. And Jim mentioned this. I felt like the Union, they get up early, and now they're just kind of going through the motions. Yes, I felt like it was just like, okay, we were chasing, and he brought that up, like, we're better when 10 were running to the ball.
We're just getting complacent.
And we were just very complacent. We were chasing the game, but then they make a mistake and we'd almost make them pay. And then that was it. And that, I almost felt like we get up and everybody's like, okay, we've been here before and we know how we can beat these guys. So we're just going to kind of make sure we do enough. If that makes sense, I just felt like,
it's hot out, and
not only that,
but don't take your foot off the gas.
Yeah, and then there were some sloppy miscues. Like, I felt like he easily could have had another goal or 2.
As a fan, we all wanted to see more goals. I felt like the way that game was going, we were going to put up possibly a touchdown.
Well, and that's just it. You go into the halftime 3-0. I'm thinking, man, if we could put our gas to the pedal a little bit more here, we put maybe 6. I was thinking maybe 5-0, 6-0. I wasn't thinking of 7.
No,
it didn't have the signs and symptoms of a 7-0 where it's like 4-0 and a half.
I didn't say a touchdown and extra point. I just said a touchdown.
Oh, I was thinking touchdown and extra point. I was thinking like 5. But anyway, so then the second half comes out, and Jim had talked about in his presser that they, were very much discussing like, hey, we need to come out, and again they come out. And it's just more of the same. In fact, if anything, I would say we really got complacent in the second half as that second half drove on. We get caught napping on a bad play.
That goal against us.
Yeah, I mean, just Glesnes and Elliott just again, Jim kind of said this too earlier in the week, where they're just trying too hard when Bendix in the net, and I felt like
Yeah.
they were trying too hard. And when I went back and watched the goal, there was an error. I believe Ellie gets nutmegged, and I think somebody else pointed out I was talking to, but gets nutmegged, and it's 3-1. You're thinking, ooh, okay, that's gonna make this interesting. And then, we just couldn't find it back. I thought, we had a goal there at the end.
Well, and then there was the own goal.
There was the own
First of
goal,
all, which
wasn't
we
didn't
were at
Carranza
first.
get called offsides too?
Well, okay, so no, I'm talking about the actual own goal that
Yeah.
counted. So at first it looked like, and even from our vantage point, right behind that goal, looked like at first I thought it was Julian actually, is going to get credit for that, but then of course saw that it was an own goal,
Yeah.
and because before the game even we were all saying, several people are saying, yeah, Julian's going to get a hat trick. Julian's going to get a hat trick, against his own team. And it was good to see him definitely get a goal against them. Too bad that he didn't get the brace, but a goal is a goal, and we'll take an own goal there. But then, yeah, there was the one that was disallowed that looked like a really bad own goal, but we got caught offsides.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, you take 4-1. I don't know. I thought at the end of the day, and then you had Kai had the injury again.
Well, it was.
If it's a grade 1, it looks like it was
He said he tweaked it. Like there was a little. It was pretty precautionary. Jim said that if it was a playoff game or something, he probably would have stayed in.
Right, and which
but when we're up like that, better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I thought Real was fine again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like you got those injuries, and then Jose goes off because he's starting to get chatty, and
we got Choo,
and then you bring in Harry for some just I thought at the end of the day
there were some dumb yellow cards. Let's be honest.
Well, this guy, this official,
the one that got.
Okay, so remember I told you we were sitting there. Was it yesterday? Before the game, and I was telling you about this official.
Right.
He's only reffed 8 games, and he last couple games is very card heavy. He's just guy just starts handing out cards because I felt like he really didn't. Some of the cards, even to Miami's guys, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like he was trying to gain control, and he's a USL, and that's where he does most of his games. He's a USL official, so it was like, all right, dude, go back to USL. He wasn't like horrendous, but he was just really card happy, don't you think? I thought he was really card happy.
He was a little card happy. There were a lot of plays where they just let him play. Which was fine. Yeah.
He was just inconsistent.
Yeah. So
which in turn leads to cards, because when you're inconsistent, players don't know what they can and can't get away with.
Right.
So you don't have any boundaries or structure. But at the end of the day, we get a goal, we get 3 points.
Yep.
I should say we get 4 goals, we get 3 points.
Yep. And on top of that, since he lost to DC.
Yeah.
And by a lot, actually.
And people on Facebook in Cincinnati, Facebook want Noonan fired, apparently.
Well, go ahead, fire him, and let's bring him back to the Union. We'll take him back.
Yeah, okay, you want to talk about bad takes?
That is a very bad take by any of their people saying that.
Shame on them.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, and so since he lost, Nashville lost. So, and how about Atlanta losing 4-0 to Red Bulls?
Yeah, that was a weird one too. That was that almost makes me worried though, that they're waiting for us and they got caught with their pants down, kind of thing. So
LAFC lost, and by the way, San Jose finally lost at home. So a lot of stuff going on.
But yeah. So but I thought the crowd was great last night. We did our chants again.
Yeah, around
good energy. I thought, I'll be honest with you, I thought the crowd energy was very good until all the Messi fans started leaving. But it was weird because usually we have this great crowd energy and players are you could just tell they were just trying to get through this game.
Well, and then
we were having a good time.
Yeah, and in the 70-something minute, I would say 73rd or so, we started doing the chant that got the whole way around the stadium again. And I did hear that there were people from the River End going in those other sections and getting them going too, which is great. So, but it was great to see it catch on again. And the whole stadium
Well,
doing
well, this time I was
motion.
watching too, and you're right. There were other people, and there were even people from those sections that must have known the cheer. You could see them go down, like
Yeah.
leading their section, and that's really
I
what you
love
got.
this so much. I hope this continues.
I do too. I
There
think
needs to
this
be a thing.
it does. It needs to be a thing every game, regardless of whether we're up or down. Like we
Mm-hmm.
need to have that. I think players can really feed off. And if it's a close game late, maybe that's the extra boost
Yeah.
that gets that extra goal. Um,
And the crowd, there was 19,000, over 19,000. I mean, it was
yeah,
big time sellout and a lot of standing room only and everything. So,
we did a good job, I thought, in 136 and in
yeah.
River End overall last night. So, oh,
Yeah.
and shout out to Anj.
Yeah. Anjum, lucky baby. Happy
He
birthday.
gets happy birthday. I hope you enjoyed the card from Jillian, Todd, and I. And enjoy your. Sorry, it wasn't the card. Cars are Ice Age.
The Hot Wheels is still cool.
Yeah, I looked really hard. Billy's probably laughing, going, "Yeah, you didn't look hard enough." I did. You can attest to that. But anyway, so post game, what'd you think? We kind of didn't do the Larimer this time.
We walked over there. We had
We
talked
were
about going over and watching the USA
US game.
versus Jamaica, and but I mean it was so hot still,
It was
and
hot,
it was
and they can get
stuffy in
hot
there,
over there.
and honestly didn't really feel like having anything there, and the selection there wasn't anything. It was like, oh, I gotta have that right now. No,
Yeah.
so we're like, oh, let's just go walk back, and we were just drinking water and everything. Walk back, and Union Yards actually had more. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
was,
more people there after the game
and
than
that's so.
before.
And I'm glad you brought that up. So that brings up an interesting point. With Union Yards post game, we've seen now the last 3 games after a match, that place is bumping.
Yeah.
That place is still going strong. I feel like almost what the Union should say early on is, and I get why, like if they're gonna have a live band, they do that. Like I feel like they could do that after a game, like get a live band, say,
Yeah.
okay, you're gonna play.
They need to propose.
Like whenever the game's over, 10:30 to, I think what they say 2 hours after game time. So
Yeah, because there really isn't, besides the Larimer, there isn't really anywhere to go after
we
the
had a
game.
fun time.
Like there's, like some places that are actually around in a city or near stuff. So having Union Yards there, that's great. They need to promote that more. And I do feel like more people are taking advantage of that, because who wants to sit in traffic? If you're not in a hurry, we're not in a hurry on a Saturday night, which is nice. Weeknights are a different story during the school year anyway. So we'll go over there. We were hanging out actually in the Sons of Ben lot, though, hanging out with some of our
that's
over there.
Evan and Jose and a couple of other
we were
guys.
watching we were all watching the USA and Jamaica game on our phones.
Yeah, and just talking about the game.
And it's funny because, of course, we're watching that, and then we saw Damian Lowe score, and it's like, oh, we're torn, because obviously
Evan brought it up best. It's like you want to see Lowe score, you want to see US get a tie, you want to see Blake played out. All 3 of those things happened.
They tied. Yay.
Blake had some really nice saves.
He did. Damian Lowe, heck of a header.
That was a great header. I mean, just a great set piece in. He hits that ball on a dime, like timed it perfectly. Beats turn. I mean, that's going to beat pretty much any goalkeeper. I mean, that was just so well placed. It was a great goal.
Yeah.
But I mean, part of me's torn because obviously, country.
Yeah.
Country
supposed to be country
club.
over club. And
it's still like
posting.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
We need to MLS clubs. You need to stop doing that if it's
It was bad when LAFC posted about Gareth Bale in the World Cup.
We need to stop
against
doing
the USA.
that if your player is I shouldn't say you just should stop doing that if it's against the US. If it's goals against the US, like MLS is, really pro US. Like we just need to stop doing that now. I mean,
it's good to be happy for him.
Yeah, like there has to be a way.
There's a different way to handle it.
That's what I'm getting at, because I feel like, yes, we should be happy for Damian and Blake for a solid game.
Because it was I forget exactly what the wording was, but it was like,
because it makes
let's go, but
it makes the Union look great. but at the same time, it's like,
And the fact
eh,
that we had players, they brought up multiple times on the broadcast, that Andre, that Damien, and also that Corey Burke,
yeah,
former Union player, because Corey got in then.
yeah,
So these things were brought up quite a bit, and definitely looks good on the Union that that was our player doing that.
yeah,
But at the same time, it was against the US. And so you gotta think about how you're posting that, because I do know, I mean, we know how people thought about LAFC posting about Gareth Bale,
yeah,
and that include the LAFC fans were like, it's that meme with Jonah Hill, like, you know,
yeah.
yeah. So I think we all agree on this.
But I feel like so that was a fun time, and then we headed home. But
Yeah,
two interesting notes to wrap up the game. First off, Julian Carranza joins Sebastian Letou as the only players with consecutive 10-goal seasons in Union history. That was
love to see it.
by MLS Communications. And a second little just fun tidbit here. The Union have scored 4 or more goals in 10 of their last 18 regular season home games dating back July. No other team has more than 5 home games with 4+ goals in that time. That's pretty remarkable when you see that stat. Now, again, this isn't a stat show, but I just wanted to throw those 2 nuggets out there because I was looking over some notes, and those two really stand out to you.
It is
So,
impressive. And during the game last night too, there were a lot of course, chants going on about Messi and who needs Messi and that sort of thing. And
do you think Jonathan Tannenwald was just doing that for clickbait? His comment. Did you see what I sent you about where he's like, "Yes, I told you. The Inquirer told you. People should know where Messi is." I think I'm hoping that was a joke. He made 2 tweets, and I was like, "I'm hoping that's a joke."
yeah,
Jonathan, I love you, but some
yeah.
tweet was like,
But
"What?"
there were a lot of things about that and how we've the better Argentine and all of that. So
Which also is,
I mean,
yeah. He's playing great, but let's see what happens when Messi gets here. Yeah.
but I do love having Julian Carranza,
100%,
and
100%.
what he has been able to do since he's come to our club is great.
Yeah, yeah. And no. So anyway, interesting comment during the game last night for those of you listening at home. Danny Hagenbraun brought this up, and it was guess when Mikel was coming off for Nate on that sub. They were
Yeah,
coming off the field, and he said basically that he was talking about Jim and how the contract, he had heard reports, I guess today, that the contract negotiations are trending. I forget the exact quote, but they're trending in a positive direction. So
right.
making it sound like, okay, things are getting along. I think it was a spokesperson from the union saying it's a positive direction. Now you can say, well, what is a positive direction? Meaning that large gap that we heard early in the year from Todd and Bogert sounds to me like it's shortening. So
Yes,
I think my ultimate gut is, his contract's going to get done. I think Jim wants to be here. I think,
he's made it pretty clear that he's a Philly guy. He wants to be here.
and he's in a part where his kids are still going through school.
Hmm.
I mean, we're never going to say never until the ink's
Right,
on the paper, but I think if Higginbotham's reporting that during the game, he sounded very optimistic, and knowing Danny, he has access to Jim from his years just being in the
right.
union with JP. I would take that as yeah, you
Yeah.
know,
And I'm happy to hear that.
yeah. I mean, so it leaves with Ernst.
And that needs to get done because, yeah, Ernst is, well, he's like Howie Roseman is to the Eagles.
Yeah, I get again. I've seen
Super
people
important.
say, well, he said he wanted to go back to Europe. I have yet to find that comment. So if somebody that's listening,
Mhm.
please get me that comment. I've seen him mention that eventually he would, but not that like, okay, I want to get going right now. Because I have not seen or read that in any article. But one of the things I guess for me is I think Ernst is going to be back as well.
Mhm.
Um, I think he still has unfinished business. I was
Yeah.
talking with somebody
Yeah,
today,
absolutely.
and I was talking to somebody about it, and we both agreed like he's got unfinished business. Number one, number two. I think he likes this challenge of trying to, with more and more teams spending this league, he loves the challenge of trying to find better players
Yeah.
at lower prices and making the best of them. So I think he comes back, but again, we'll find out. So final topic today. Let's look ahead here next 5 games. So Union pick up 3 points last night. And now we got we're not gonna be home for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're not back until July 15th, which
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, crap, we're not back until we're like halfway through July. This teacher's not ready for summer to go that fast.
So yeah, the Union now have 3 away games, and hey, they go to Atlanta, then they go cross country, which is always tough, even though the Galaxy are not, let's be honest, they barely beat Colorado. Or did they tie them?
They just played them last night. Oh yeah, they tied. Nothing.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
Like I was saying, bottom of the barrel there.
Okay, yeah, that's so. I mean, we'll see what happens when you go out to the West Coast. It can always be a crapshoot, but hey, you get 3 points out in the West Coast.
But it's there for the taking. We need to go take care of that.
I guess what my thoughts is, of those three, this is probably. Do you think this is their toughest stretch of the season?
Well, it's going to be tough because they don't have Andre Blake, number
That's part
one.
of it.
And, well, I think that Atlanta and Nashville, they're going to be the harder ones.
For sure. And I think the reason I said that is, well, we saw it with San Jose. You can go out there. Now, granted, San Jose played a game of their life. And that was, the Union played a very good game. And that was just, I still say, if that's a Subaru Park, it's still a very good game. That game is reversed. Although you never can tell when they had 2 awesome, really nice goals.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
yeah,
it's kind of like the Miami game early in the year. There's nothing you can do about it. So at the end of the day, there's opportunity here. Right. Obviously, you want to get 3 against New York City. I think if we can get, I think Jim said 10 points or something like that. I mean, I'd love to see a win in LA, a win against Miami. That's 9, and then try to get a point either in Atlanta or Nashville.
Well, it seems like all we do with Nashville is tie.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Maybe Mikel will score there again. Remember?
Geos Park would riot if he did that. Although that would be hilarious. But
we hope he does.
Yeah, we do. I'd like to see us get a little bit more. I think next week's Sunday matchup is going to be a wild card, because with Joe and goal against that attack, Land can score in bunches. That actually could become a track meet, because although
it's on turf.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But I think for me, just let's try to stay within the top 4, potentially 2 or 3, like I said last week. I'm being consistent with this, like top 2 or 3. You want Blake and Lowe to come back soon and as healthy as we can, but at the end of the day, we can't control how Jamaica does.
Yeah. I mean, Joe did okay last night. And by the way, everyone's saying that Joe is old. We're saying that LA is old. Shut up. I feel attacked because I'm right around their age.
You're saying I'm attacking you?
And you're older than all of us, so yeah.
I know.
Yeah, and well, in Atlanta's goalie is my age.
Yeah, yes, he is.
Age.
Voldemort is the same age as you.
Yep. So not old. I mean, not old.
Jazan does a good job. He's having a good season.
Yeah.
Let's give him credit.
Yeah. So
I can't wait to chant him in the river end at the end of the year. Towards the end of your
he did get last night, so you just never know. So.
Yeah, you never know with him.
Even Andre got scored on 4 times in a game we shall not mention last year. So
anyway,
these things happen.
But at the end of the day, this is a tough stretch. We'll see how they get through it. But you like what you're seeing from this team, even though we didn't play the best game last night. We still get 3 points, and I think Rich was the one to mention that to me on the way out. He's like, I was like, oh, man, we did not play good. He's
3 points, take the 3 points.
That's exactly what he says. 3 points, take the 3 points. I'm like, that's true. That's fair. But when we look at the bigger picture, hopefully we can get more than 3 here in the next couple of weeks. We can get, close to 40 points going into, the Leagues Cup. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But thanks again for tuning in today. A little shorter episode.
No
but
catastrophes today.
no,
They
that
got
man,
shut out.
yeah. But make sure to like, subscribe on the episode. We got some guests coming up in the next couple weeks here, some more guests and fans. So if there's anybody you out there would think, hey, you should really have this person on the show, let us know. We'd love to hear any comments. Make sure to interact with us on social media. And until next time, I'm Kyle.
I'm Jillian.
And we'll see you next time.